Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media. We are here in Rotterdam, and I have Albert Pegg with me in the studio. Very important person. Welcome, Albert.
Thanks for having me, Leslie.
Absolutely. Now, you are one of the founding fathers of Breakbulk Europe. It's been 20 years. How does that feel to be sitting here today?
Yeah, it's gone by in a flash because business is moving so fast, and shipping and logistics, it goes on and on and on. 365 days a year. I'm in fact flabbergasted by the fact that it went so fast because I can feel it. My body can feel it, but here, I try to stay as young as possible.
Absolutely. Well, you certainly have. Tell me maybe a couple of things that have changed in the industry over the past 20 years and a couple of things that are still the same.
For me, what has changed quite a bit is the fact that um, people, the younger generation, are not picking up the phone as we used to do when we had an issue. They are writing emails, WhatsApp messages, using the new means that they have. But I still think that having a conversation with one another is a lot easier than writing things down that can be misunderstood.
Absolutely.
And you can immediately explain when the other one doesn't get you on the phone or in a personal meeting. And you can find compromises and solutions much easier. That's my take on it.
And that's a good piece of advice.
Yeah. Um, the other thing that has changed dramatically, I think, in Breakbulk was there were so many lines, the mergers and acquisitions that have taken place, the Breakbulk that has moved from multi-purpose or conventional vessels to the containers, that has also changed drastically, or to ro-ro vessels. And there's, of course, there will always be between, I would say, 8 to 10% of the cargo, of the general cargo, will not be containerizable. And that's a given. Whatever you try to do, there's no way to get that in a box.
Absolutely. No box is big enough for some of those days.
Absolutely. And of course, you can load certain things on a container vessel by building a kind of breakbulk deck, let's call it that way, by using a lot of flat racks. But it's not the same. It's a lot of the project cargo industry professionals still prefer to get the cargo on a conventional vessel that goes to their destination, because container vessels are geared to go to container terminals.
Right.
Whereas a new industry, a new LNG plant is usually not next to a container terminal.
Exactly. All right. So tell me, what's the biggest thing that has stayed the same?
That has stayed the same. Very well. The industry is still rather old-fashioned.
Okay. All right.
I've always been an advocate for digitization, and I still think that there is a long way to go. Certainly for breakbulk cargo. For containerized cargo, we're not 100% there, but we're getting closer. if you compare it to the airlines, that's also moving cargo from A to B. We're still also with containers far behind. But as far as breakbulk is concerned, we're ages behind. The possibilities that are there, certainly now with AI and stuff like that, it's Internet of Things. There are quite a lot of possibilities to also digitize that part of the industry. The way that is still the same is, we still have a bill of lading. People are still using bills of lading. Sometimes it's a Seaway bill, but if there's a little of credit involved, it's still a bill of lading, and it's often still printed, which I find in today's day and age, they want to see the bill of lading. Okay, some of them are being sent in PDF, but when push comes to shove, some banks, some institutions, afterwards when there's a claim, they want to see the bill of lading. They want to see the loading permit. They want to see still everything as if, 100 years ago.
Exactly. All right. So the other thing I wanted to ask you is we've certainly this year seen, or over the past year, a lot of turmoil in the market, right? War in Ukraine, Red Sea, now trade policies, tariffs, etc. How would you measure or compare the uncertainty that the industry is feeling today versus times of upheaval in the past, to put it in a better perspective?
Yeah. There's always been disruption. I go back as far as that they blocked Rhodesia with their tobacco.
Okay.
And suddenly there was so much Malawi and Mozambique tobacco in the world that they even couldn't produce themselves. But with now everything being a lot more transparent, you can't just change from Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, to say it's Malawi tobacco with a certificate, with a certificate of origin and things like that. The everything is transparent, so you know where the cargo is coming from, and so you can't just change the country of origin. And there's also other things that are much more transparent because of digitization. Also, a lot of customs procedures are completely digitized, so you can follow the trail of the cargo. So it's not so easy to work around that. And as far as disruption is concerned, that was one example that I've experienced, but there have been others with wars going on. I'm what they say an Africa specialist. I had cargo stuck in Ivory Coast on our vessel, which needed to be discharged pretty soon, and it wasn't discharged because there was a war going on. We had that also in the DRC, in Matadi. So in a lot of those places we had that. But it also happened in South America. It also happened in other places around the world. This, with the conflicts that are now there, the Houthis in the Red Sea, Ukraine, which for Europe was the agricultural basis of Europe, because all grain nearly came from Ukraine. So these things are really hurting. It's hurting also in the people's pockets. So inflation is not only something that is going on in the USA, it's also happening in Europe with the cargo having to move around the Cape.
Right.
Uh, all these things cost a lot of money, and they disrupt the supply chain enormously. And there's, for the moment, there's no end in sight. There's people trying to make an end to it, and there will come an end to it. But will that then be replaced by another conflict?
Probably, right? I mean, but certainly you've seen that. So my last question to you is, for someone new entering the business, attracted by the variety, the challenges that they would encounter in this industry, what advice do you have for those people to be successful and to be able to handle all of this turmoil?
That's a lot of questions in one.
All right, one good piece of advice to get started.
To get started. I'm going to give a bit of background of myself. I studied political and social sciences and Germanic languages because I wanted to see the world as a journalist. I ended up in shipping and I saw the world. So people that want to see the world and are getting the virus, because it's a virus. As soon as shipping and logistics is in your blood, you can't get rid of it. It's there's never a dull moment. If you like challenges, go for it. If that's giving you the adrenaline to work on a daily basis, then go for it. It's a fantastic job. I saw the world, although I didn't study for it. I had to learn it in evening classes and on the job. And I was lucky enough to move up the ladders, thanks to also, of course, quite a lot of hard work.
Absolutely.
It's not that they will throw it in your lap just because you know your stuff. You have to give your customers, you have to give them what they need. And that's our motto has always been in the office that I learned from my first boss was, the customer is king.
Okay.
And if you satisfy your customer, then you will see more cargo. And of course, it has to be at the right price, but your customer is king.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you for sharing all of that information with us. So great. And it's so wonderful to see you.
My pleasure, Leslie.